Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We will now look at a set of questions. The first question is, okay, what happens to the soul of a Jewish and a Christian person who has been following their jurisprudence the way they should have been following it? Well, if you look at the work of Imam al-Qurtubi and in At-Tadhkirah, he talks about it in volume number 1, that as far as the Jewish and the Christian souls are concerned, as long as they're following their Sharia, their jurisprudence, the way they should have been following it, then their soul is allowed to go as far as the kursi. And then from there on, they return back to their grave. And then in due process, they do observe as their bodies gets washed and the burial takes place. And Imam al-Qurtubi, in the same volume, on the same page, talks about the soul of a mushrik, the one who associates with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That soul doesn't observe any of the burial process, rather is taken away as soon as the soul is extracted from the body and is put into Sijjin, as it is returned back from the heavens and is not allowed to enter the skies. And as far as the soul of a hypocrite, a munafiq, is concerned, that's also pushed into punishment right away. Now, let's talk about a disbeliever. Let's talk about a believer who has committed a lot of sins. We have already talked about a believer that is a pious soul. But what exactly happens to a believer who is a sinner and has committed a lot of sins? Well, such an individual has varying degree of what happens to them based on what exactly, they were a sinner in what capacity, as mentioned by Imam Qurtubi in At-Tadhkirah. As far as those individuals whose salah is not accepted because they either missed on it or they didn't do it properly in proper etiquettes, then such a salah is returned back to them exactly like if somebody gives you a torn cloth as a gift, you will throw it back to them exactly the same way the salah is returned back to them. And when their soul ascends up, salah comes in the way and says, "Oh Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this particular individual did not fulfill their rights when they were praying." So, and salah confronts this person and says that you have completely wasted me. So such a person will then dealt with very harshly in the matter of salah. When it comes to the matter of zakah, same deal happens. If this person has been giving zakah or sadaqah only to gain fame, so in that particular case, zakah will not be accepted on his behalf. Similarly, as far as the fasting is concerned, some people refrain from eating and drinking in fasting, but do not leave the sins that they have been doing outside of Ramadan. They continue to do that even in the Ramadan. They commit modest acts even in the Ramadan. So in such a thing is then returned back to them without any acceptance. Similarly, some people perform Hajj only to be called that. Some people will say, "Oh, he's Haji, or he's Al-Hajj. He has performed so many Hajj, or he has performed Hajj." So such a Hajj is not accepted and is returned back on their faces. For some of them, they were disobedient towards their parents. So then they will be dealt with accordingly. So similarly, a person is a sinner in different capacity. Whatever was the capacity in which the person was a sinner will be dealt with accordingly. The bottom line is, if it's a good soul, as it is observing getting washed, it's observing getting put in a shroud, which is the white cloth or the kafan, then at that point, the soul attaches itself to the body, means like somebody hugs someone tightly, that kind of stuff, and then it starts making a sound which may resemble the sound of a bull or a camel, as mentioned by Imam Qurtubi in a Tadhkirah. And basically it says that take me towards the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala quickly. And then as soon as the soul that is a bad soul sees the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right away says, "Oh, what rahmah I was talking about. I wish I knew that I'm being taken to the punishment." knew what kind of punishment I've been taking towards, you would not be taking me towards that punishment. And if the soul is told about the punishment, that it will be one of those souls that will be getting punished, then it right away starts screaming, leave me, you are taking me towards my punishment. Only if you knew that I'm getting punished, you would not be taking me towards my punishment. As soon as this particular body is put into ground, and now the soul's question and answer is about to start, at that point, grave starts speaking to this individual, that, oh individual, when you were on my back, what is it that you used to do? You used to commit a lot of sins. Now that you have come in me, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed you with a lot of blessings. Now that your body has been given to me, now this body will become the food of things that I have. And then you were on top of me extremely arrogant, extremely mean. Now it's time for you to witness the things that you denied or you totally forgot about that you have to witness one day. And there's a special angel that visits in the grave, and his name is Ruman. And he's the first angel that comes forward and meets with this incoming soul. Inshallah, we'll talk more about the Roman in the future lectures. But I just wanted to talk about this particular thing, that how the souls of different individuals is being dealt with. And of course, there is a mention of different situations, even in the Quran, that, for example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah An-Nahl says, الَّذِينَ تَتَوَفَّاهُمُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ طَيِّبِينَ. When angels take the soul of those people who are the tayyibin, who are the clean people. Similarly, in Surah As-Sajdah says, قُلْ يَتَوَفَّاكُمْ مَلَكُ الْمَوْتِ الَّذِي وُكِّلَ بِكُمْ. And then when the angel of death, which is appointed for you, says that, okay, now it is time for you to leave this and then similarly, توفته رسلنا وهم لا يفرطون. And then when the angels come to take the soul, and these angels never make a mistake. Now this itself is an ayah of the Quran that identifies the fact which some people get mistaken, like, oh, what is an NDE, near-death experiences? Did angel make mistakes that took the soul and returned it back because it was a mistake? No, angels don't make mistake. وَهُمْ لَا يُفَرِّطُونَ. They do not make any mistakes in this matter whenever the orders are passed. So what is NDE? That's a totally different discussion for some other day. الَّذِينَ تَتَوَفَّاهُمُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ ظَالِمِي أَنفُسِهِمْ. So sometimes the angels would be taking the souls away from the body, and these people were doing something not good. So similarly, we also see in Surah Al-Anfal, وَلَوْ تَرَى إِذْ يَتَوَفَّى الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا الْمَلَائِكَةُ يَضْرِبُونَ وُجُوهَهُمْ وَأَدْبَارَهُمْ. That when the angels come to take the soul of those who are disbelievers, their punishment starts right away when angels start hitting them on their faces and on the backs right away. And similarly in Surah Muhammad, we see فَكَيْفَ إِذَا تَوَفَّتْهُمُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ يَضْرِبُونَ وُجُوهَهُمْ وَأَدْبَارَهُمْ. And then how would be that when the angels will be taking their souls from the bodies and will be hitting their faces and the backs. So there are several accounts, even in the books of hadith, about how the souls of different individuals is taken. And then also in Surah Al-An'am, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَوْ تَرَى إِذِ الظَّالِمُونَ فِي غَمَرَاتِ الْمَوْتِ وَالْمَلَائِكَةُ بَاسِطُوا أَيْدِيهِمْ. That if you see those who are disbelievers, when they die, the kind of punishment and the hardships that they go through, when the angels are extending their hands into their bodies and are extracting their souls out of them, أَخْرِجُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ. And like towards the akhir al-ayah, inshallah, we'll talk more about these things in details later on, but just wanted to give you a little bit of information about how different individuals' souls are taken and what happens to them in the life of Barzakh. Till next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.